We actually want to go now to video you've probably seen on social media. You have to have seen it. I think it's been spreading like wildfire all over social media, especially if you live in Hampton Roads. Of that, there it is, right there. This viral video of a man being tackled by a Virginia police officer right on the oceanfront. You can see right there he does a karate-style spinning kick over that officer's head before being tackled. Now, this happened on Sunday, July 5th. And right now, that guy is in jail facing multiple charges for this incident. And our Derek Lytle actually got a chance to speak exclusively with him while he's behind bars. So, Derek, kind of tell us, this is a crazy story. How did this even come about, like you getting this interview and speaking with him?
Yeah, man. Well, first time with us being on the stream together, so excited about that, man.
Yeah.
But no, I reached out to the sheriff's office, seeing that he was still in custody, and this is the interview I think people wanted. The talk of the town, the social media, this, that, and the other. People have seen it as far as Michigan, other states. This happened like a block away, a street away from the Virginia Beach fishing pier over there. Just a couple hours after the fireworks, everything got done for the 4th of July into the early morning of Sunday. And, I was kind of shocked when I got the agreement text. He was more than on board to sit down and do the interview. Yeah. Even, wanted to tell me kind of how he wanted the camera position for the interview and to make sure his hair looked good for it. So, it was interesting, how it all came to be. But our sit down was lengthy, man. I think we have the full interview, but I think it's almost half an hour of content that he shares with us, not only about the incident, what led up to the incident, but also his past. A lot of social media conversation on, hey, there's been some serious charges this guy's faced in the past, but he kind of dives into all of that for us. And he was telling me he wanted the entire interview shared. I'm more than happy to. That's what we're doing right now, is giving the viewer more than just the 5 clips I picked for the main story yesterday. So really intriguing, man. I've been doing journalism a while now, you as well, and every day it seems to take the cake, if you want to say it. I'm never shocked anymore with what we go through on a daily basis. But
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this was certainly a wild story. I'm glad you got a chance to even sit with him and speak with him. But I think we should dive right into it. And you were saying kind of like, at the beginning, he kind of talked a little bit, like you said.
I mean, because people don't. He was trying to say to me that people don't understand what led up to it. Essentially, what led up to it is him and another gentleman had a mutual agreement to a duel or something of that nature. That he said that they were going to have a fight, and that's when police kind of came up, and he decided to flee on a one wheel. I've never driven a one wheel, but it's one of those just the wheel kind of scooter you stand on.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the balance is on those things, but he took off. So I don't know. We can listen to some of the stuff he had to say about it and kind of dive back into it.
Yeah. I think so. We'll take a listen.
I don't know how much people have seen, but I would imagine they've seen only a very small part of the incident. The incident started near Atlantic, and it escalated and escalated and escalated, which for some people would not be surprising because it involved the police. So I don't know actually how much people have seen or what the response has been, but I will tell you this. There was an incident between myself and another man that I'll just say was like legal and consensual, and the police arrived at the scene not knowing what was going on and instantly made assumptions, became aggressive, and charged after me. Because I had not committed any crimes and I did not want to talk to the police, I jumped on my one wheel and I just left the area, which I'm allowed to do. The police instantly chased me. If anyone knows what a one wheel is, they know how extremely difficult it is to drive. Even just standing still is a challenge and an exercise in balance. There was probably 4 officers at this point chasing me on their bikes. Keep in mind, at this point, I had not committed a crime. I do not need to talk to the police. I was leaving the area. And on my one wheel, I was probably going around 25 miles an hour on Atlantic, just trying to get away. I was not wearing a helmet. I was not wearing even protective gloves. The police were yelling at me to stop, of course. They also were yelling, "Taser, taser, taser," which I thought was so extreme based on the fact that it's not like I just robbed a bank or committed murder, or there was no one hurt. There was no major incident. So the fact that they were threatening to tase me as I'm going 25 on a one wheel. Now keep in mind, I've taken chunks out of my palm falling off the one wheel at 4 miles an hour. You don't really understand physics until you come down onto pavement and you understand then, wow, there's a lot of inertia and energy happening here. So the fact that I was going 25 and they were threatening to tase me, if they had tased me, I would have fallen and I would have just obliterated my body on the pavement. I didn't think that they actually would tase me. I just wanted to get away. I wanted to be alone. And truthfully, I have some severe PTSD from police interactions that have been escalated beyond reasonable measure, and then I've paid dire consequences. But I've learned that I cannot take it out on them because it never gets better. The best thing I can do is just get away safely, if I can do it legally. And then the next thing happened, Derek, that really shocked my world. They ran into me with their bike as I was on the one wheel. I couldn't believe it. For me, in that moment, I could have died. 100%. Like, you might think I'm exaggerating. No, ask anyone who has a one wheel. I don't have a normal one, it's a fast one. Going 25, you get knocked over and your head hits the pavement, it could be over. So for me, one of the reasons why I'm so hurt right now is because I feel that I need to press charges on this officer for attempted murder. And I think one of the reasons right now that I'm kept in solitary confinement in a 7-foot by 7-foot gorilla cage after an incident that actually no one was hurt. The entire incident, no one was hurt. Thank the gods. I think the reason that they're putting me there is because during intake, I told them I will be pressing charges.
All right, so yeah, he definitely broke down a lot of information right there.
Yeah, he just started to get into the intake process and the after part. He talks about the leading up to it, fleeing from them, and not wanting police interaction. He says that extends from things that happened with his other charges back in Charlottesville in 2023, where he believes the system kind of failed him. So, you have his side of things, which I always believe, people need their platform to tell their side of things, because, we wouldn't be journalists if we weren't doing that. And,
sure.
I believe in reform and all the different stuff, and it's just, when you sit there and you just want the best for everybody. But it's he talks about the getting on the one wheel and fleeing and not want to be around the interaction, but that fight in the middle of a crowded Virginia Beach area. I'm sure that's why police got involved in the first place. But diving into the actual kick, it was interesting because the thing is, he told me he might have switched places with somebody, and then that individual was the one on the beach, but then he said, obviously it's me because I'm the one in custody. So it's kind of like dancing around the narrative of what happened.
Well, I thought it was also interesting because we ran the story on Daybreak, and he mentioned, I think he told you as well, that he did that on purpose, like to miss the officer. That
And the social media comments I've woke up reading this morning is definitely a lot of people that think that that's not true. But he did, in our interview, he says because he's a 3-time champion, we'll play a part of this coming up. But he says that he had a prize fight where he used the same kick and almost killed someone.
Oh my gosh.
And connected, and an ambulance had to come to the fight, and he doesn't want to hurt people like that anymore. But that he spared this officer in a sense, but then also calls the officer an easy target, which is a hard listen to, especially I'm sure that if that even gets played in the courtroom or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot to unpack in a 25-minute sit down. Behind bars. It's really intriguing to hear some of that perspective. And then, it's been blowing up on social media, but nobody had heard from the guy that actually was in the video. So to put those two pieces of perspective together, I think is really interesting.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm glad you got a chance to sit down with him, because in a lot of cases we don't really get to hear from suspects until a court hearing or such. But hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break here at 10:44. Then we're going to dip back in with more questions with Derek, as well as play more of that extended exclusive interview. So we'll be right back, everyone. We want to get back to Derek Lytle. He has spoken with that now viral video, the suspect in that now viral video after getting tackled on the ocean front by a police officer. You see a very fast karate-style kick almost hitting that officer. So right now he's in jail behind bars facing multiple charges. Derek got a chance to speak exclusively with him yesterday in that interview. Derek, you were saying earlier before we went to break, there's a lot of things he kind of said to you during your interview. I also thought it was interesting. You kind of dug into a little bit of his past history as well, too.
Yeah, the past history is something that we'll get to at the very end of the interview. He goes into, because I brought it up, a lot of people are like, hey, he's got past stalking charges, making a bomb threat charges. So I asked him, I'm like, could you dive into that? So he does dive into that. I think the next part that we're going to listen to is him asking for us to give the viewer more of the perspective, and then he gets into the actual kick part, the part that people want to hear about from the video that they've seen online. So some interesting perspective he'll give us right here.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's take a listen to that right now.
Who knows? So when I saw that there was no way that I was going to get away, came off the one wheel, I can't remember if I crashed or jumped off, and an officer was just barreling at me. And as a world champion martial artist, and as someone who has run martial arts schools for most of my life, I want to tell you a quick story. And I would love for all of this to be shared instead of crop, because I don't want people to get the wrong points. So maybe you can crop but also have a long form. Would you do that for me? Because I don't want it to be pieces. Thank you. Even if you want to put the whole thing somewhere that people can watch the whole thing. I want to take you back to my very first full contact mixed martial arts fight against a trained fighter. This trained fighter happened to be a wrestler. That was their specialty. And in the second round, I recognized I'm not taking this guy seriously enough. We keep going to the ground. It's not my favorite spot to be in. I need to end the fight standing up. So I did a spinning wheel kick. This was this is past. This has nothing to do with police. And I connected the back of my heel with the side of his temple. And he was instantly knocked out cold. And he wasn't just knocked out cold, the crowd went crazy. The video got about 1.5 million views. When they posted it, they asked, is this the best knockout that we've seen? My opponent was not out cold for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but out cold for 90 seconds. If you know anything, that's not good. They called the ambulance. When he finally came to, he couldn't remember anything. He definitely had a concussion. I checked on him. Are you okay, dude? Are you okay? What happened? Who won? And he went away in the squad. And for me, that was a moment where I was like, God, I don't think I want to do this. I love people too much. I have too much of a heart. As much as I love the sport, I do not like seeing this man in pain. When the officer was running towards me, I had a choice. Do I want to defend myself like I feel like I have the right to do? Do I want to knock him out? Do I want to just slam a kick into his chest and knock him down and then run away? And I thought, you know what? Nah, this is not going to matter. There's 12 of them, and they have cameras everywhere. I'm not getting away. But I was angry, and I just wanted to show them the mercy that I had by throwing a kick. I intentionally did not make contact. So for anyone who thinks I missed, you don't understand my level of skill. I'm a 3-time world champion in the National Black Belt League. I'm a 4-3 black belt. I was the sensei of senseis. I was the CEO of a multi-million-dollar martial arts company. This officer was fat and slow and running on sand. Easiest target ever. I had 18 different ways I could have hit him. And I want everyone to know, including the police, I did not want to hurt anyone. I did not want to kick anyone. I knew it would not make the situation better. But in my anger and hurt, I wanted to let them know that I was being merciful by not knocking him out, cold on the sand, and then riding past him on the one wheel. So I showed him what I could do. Never did I try to hurt anyone. Was it wrong for me to throw the kick? Was it wrong for them to yell taser, taser, taser? Because if they had tased me, I could have died. If I had hit him, I would have knocked him out. Was it okay for me? Is it illegal for me to yell taser, taser? I don't know. After that, they slammed me into the sand, and I think the video will show clearly I did not fight back. I was trying to protect my joints by huddling into a ball. And this is the important part I want people to know as well, is how they treated me afterwards. No one was hurt. I did not have any weapons. At first, they were decently gentle in the fact that I know they have to use force. They don't know what I'm capable of, so it's very restraining. I just want to make sure it's still recording here, or it's still audio. I know that they have to be physical, but as they dragged me to the van, it was extremely, extremely violent. I'm upside down in cuffs, painful. The pressure of the body's on me a minute ago. My heart's racing. I have major PTSD from police mistreatment and brutality in the past. And at one point, my heart is thumping, and they asked, "Do you need medical attention?" And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I really would like medical attention to calm myself down I'm not ungrounded.
Timothy, I'm gonna have to get going to put together the story. I do want to ask 2 more things.
Please.
One thing is, with how this progresses moving forward, is it you saying that you want the entire events leading up to that video investigated further? What do you want to see happen from your side?
That's a really good question. More than my situation, I hope and I pray and I implore the police, the government, and the people to not do the same thing that they always do, which is find intrigue, interest, rage in one incident, and then maybe a lawsuit happens, maybe a police officer gets fired, maybe I get a settlement, but then what next? Nothing. I'm not looking for something for me. Yes, I'm scared for my life based on previous things that have happened in my life and even how the police have escalated and the nasty system I have had to go through. I want you to know, and I want everyone to know, I could get locked up for the rest of my life. And that could actually happen. So the first thing I'm scared of is my own life. I would like for the Virginia police to drop this, recognizing that they could have killed me. It was a total overstep of power. There's some little petty things like, well, why were you having this disagreement or conflict with this person? Well, why don't you ask me? You never asked. You just chased me, yelled taser, ran into me, and then my shoulder was dislocated. You slammed my head into the van. You did not give me medical attention. You pushed into me. When I got to intake, you pretty much stripped me naked and left me there for hours. You're tricking me by saying, oh, sign this thing here. What am I signing? This says I've had my phone call. I have not had my phone call. I did not have a magistrate hearing. The magistrate did not hear me at all. They heard the officer. They wrote down 8 charges. It's called charge stacking. They just give you everything you can and hope it sticks. So I hope that police reform actually happens. And it's not some new little government policy or extra funding. The police are doing, this is what I firmly believe, and for those that understand the system, they already know this is true. Derek, it's gonna sound crazy, but the police in the United States of America do more harm than they do good. And if you don't agree with me, you do not know the police. You have not been on the inside. So I want there to be actual reform, not new education or a new cop car. I want, you know what I really want? I would like to be put in charge of the Virginia Beach Police. I have been a CEO of a company. I've been a boss, a leader, a mentor, a coach. I am passionate about things getting better. I hope to God that the president, maybe Trump, the mayor of Virginia Beach, I don't know, gives me a chance to be the chief of police of Virginia Beach, and I will turn it around. Here's one thing I'd like to do. The Virginia Beach Police, all of their body cams must be live at all times.
Well, Derek, you heard him right there kind of telling you he wants to be chief of police.
Does he have your backing, or do you think we need him as the chief to turn around our city? At certain parts of being a journalist, we have to remain professional. But
Sure.
I mean, I'm just kind of sitting there like where on the cliff does this dive off of? But you know, if he wants to fix the city, I guess he can put his bid in after incarceration and go for it. I don't know what your thoughts are listening to something like that.
No, yeah, it was. I didn't expect the interview to go there, because it kind of just went and took a different turn, like you mentioned. So that was interesting to hear that take.
Yeah,
it was very interesting.
Yeah, and it's. Yeah, he mentions parts of being thrown in the van and maybe not getting his phone call, and every person goes through the legal system like that. Sure, he might have had some injustices, perhaps, but when you actively swing at an officer, I think that that kind of elevates the situation. So I don't there's a lot of stuff to unpack there for sure. It is,
and I was just checking it up. He is facing several charges, right now. I think 8, in fact, including disturbing the peace and a simple assault on a law enforcement officer, and he is due back in court for a preliminary hearing early in September.
Yep. Yeah.
So, of course, Derek, we appreciate you sharing your insight to that very interesting jailhouse interview. So I'm sure you'll definitely continue to follow that as the hearing and court case plays out as well too.
Oh yeah. I like to stay connected to a case till the conclusion. So we'll see definitely how it plays out in September for sure.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it, Derek. Well, your time is now 11:01 on your Friday morning. Almost closing time for a lot of you if you're streaming from your work office. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll got more news for you coming up.